What's up, man? How you doing?
I've been good, brother. I cannot complain. Life is good.
Man, so we are in San Diego and stuff. There's crazy ass El Nino rain right now. I was like, this is like Florida-ish, bro. It's just wild.
Jeez. Yeah, it gets crazy out here, the hurricanes and
Yeah,
everything.
dude, that's like the only thing about Florida that would scare me is like the water and stuff.
It gets nuts, man, for real.
Have you guys been pretty good for a while though?
Yeah, and you know what? After living here for a while, it's pretty ignorant actually, but when they say a hurricane, you've been through so many of them, you're like, yeah, yeah, okay. You guys want to go to the beach? Okay, let's go to the beach.
Whatever. See you later. Yeah.
And half the time you're at the beach when there's a cat four coming in and it never does anything. But that one time when it comes, probably not going to be good.
Gosh, I see it. I don't forget it. I'm like, shit. But you're doing well. You got the golf cart. You got a golf cart tour thing going now, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
That's pretty good. We got Tampa and then we just opened St. Pete. So we basically do city tours. So we
Yeah.
have 8-seater deluxe golf carts that are street legal and we just do city tours. So we take people all around the city, tell them all about it, show them around sites, history, facts, where to go, things to do, things to see. Real thorough. We're the number one tour on TripAdvisor. It's pretty
Dude,
good.
that's so cool. I love that stuff. When I'm traveling in other countries and stuff, I always look for the thing that can
Same.
shortcut me all the info so I can like get it quickly.
Yep.
Traveling, you're not
100%.
not trying to spend all
Same.
the research and time. You know what I mean? Which leads us
Oh,
to
yeah.
where we met, Traver, your other company.
Yep.
So Traver's like the dopest, like young adult, like shared experience, go travel. You do all of the, or your company does all of the curated like
Yeah.
itineraries and stuff. I mean, I can talk about all day, but give me like give the video like the one, like how do you describe it in one? Because I know how I describe
You
it.
know what? Yeah, I still don't have an elevator pitch, man. I try not to pitch it. I really don't, but I probably should. But I just say it's international travel. And we dropped the young professionals thing.
Okay.
Now it's for whoever. We're not doing old people. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
still fun activities and stuff like that. But it's international travel and everything's planned. And I think the best thing about it, I mean, the activities, the places are unbelievable, but just the people on the trip.
Yeah.
That's
So
really
the
what makes it.
places,
You
I
know
mean,
that.
yeah, just like a list of where I've been with you, which is
Yeah.
Greece, Peru, Tulum, which was sick. There is
Thailand.
Thailand, bro. Like, is that three? Oh, Utah. So that was the
No, no Utah. No Utah.
where was the ski trip?
Oh, Breckenridge.
That was
Breckenridge.
so
Yeah.
sick, bro. All of those were
That
so
was a good
fun,
one.
man. Are you doing more local travel now with Trevor, or is it
Nah,
still?
no, all international. We might do a Breckenridge one here and there, but everything else is just all international. Just keeping it like that.
Yeah, because people want to go see they want to go see the things.
Yeah, for sure.
What's been your one of your favorite trips of late?
You want to know what? I got to tell you this. They have gotten so much better over the years. And this last year, 2023, those were my favorite trips. And I try to keep it professional and you know how I am on the trips, but this last year, I've just had so much more fun with it. And I think it's because, I have people guiding them. Actually, I have people hosting them. And I just kind of, when I go, I just have fun and have such a great time with everybody. And it makes a huge difference, man. It's been great.
Yeah, that's so cool. I agree. I know you went from leading them to more just like overseeing, and now it sounds like you're fully removed.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
man. It's so cool. It's always so cool to see you on the trips, especially the ones of late so the last one I went on was Saloon, which I got to go on some soon. I mean, Nutty and I can go soon, but
Yes.
it was cool because you just come hang out, you chill, and then you're like, all right, guys, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
All right, man, cool. And then we like rage on or whatever, which is funny. Like I feel like I was your like rage captain there for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
I got
so
a motor
funny.
that doesn't stop. I can go.
No, that's so true. So
Yeah.
true.
But it's really because I had the best time. I mean, Thailand was my first experience of traveling because I wasn't a big fan before that.
Yeah. Now traveling is amazing. That Thailand trip's unbelievable. We're gonna do one in November. It'll be our first one back since COVID. I'm pretty excited.
Wild, man. Okay, traveling's cool. Traveling with 15 to 20 other people who are
Yeah.
all open to an experience, probably one of the
Yes.
best things I've ever done in my life.
Agreed.
And you knew
Me
that.
too.
You knew that when you built this
Yeah.
business, it's like a different energy. Why do you think it's so different when you have a group with you?
Well, I think it's very important when you say that it depends. I don't like the term group, but when you have a set of people with you, it depends who that set of people is, because it could be completely the opposite. It could be, oh my gosh, I hate these people. Why am I with them? I wish I was alone. That happens a lot. The
Right.
people with Trevor, that doesn't happen. We've never had that happen. It's the people are amazing. And I think how we get so many amazing people is our marketing. The people see, the videos, the pictures, and they want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And when you get a lot of people together that want to be a part of that and they know what they're getting into, it's amazing. And we handcraft the trip, so the activities, the places, and a lot of other things we do to make sure that everybody's getting the best out of the trip. It really brings the best out of people, and it's amazing, as you know.
Yeah, it's almost like the content that is made for your company is curated with like an expectation of like what kind of person's gonna go.
100%, it
Like
is.
it's all
It's
fun, adventurous, like lively. Like the nightlife is wild and fun, but like tasteful.
Yes.
The events are the like your excursions, like the things you go do. Seriously, so fun and like the fact that you don't have to sit there and pre-plan a whole trip for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or 10 days or whatever the trip is so nice. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's almost like your marketing and your content is built to attract the right people and not, kind of weed out the wrong ones.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. I had a guy one time, he came up to me in Tampa and he's like, "Hey man, I heard you had this travel company. Everybody keeps telling me about it. I heard it was great." I said, "Yeah, we do a good job." And he said, "Well, I don't really like being around people and most people just piss me off." He's like, "But maybe you can talk me into why I should go." And I was like, "Brother," I said, "it's probably not right for you. I'm going to tell you right now." I said, it's probably not a good fit. I wouldn't want that guy on a trip if you paid me a
Yeah,
million
man.
dollars.
One person could be like a plague. Yeah.
One, it is. It's so very accurate.
But I mean, but all the trips that I've been on, you've done an excellent job. There's never been anything, but even if there was the smallest inconvenience, like Dylan, your tour guy, all the tour guys are always so freaking
Yeah.
good. Like just,
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I feel like they're masters at just level out the
Yeah.
situation,
A
which is
100%.
definitely needed. Everyone's on vacation and stuff. So, man,
Yeah.
I've been on 4 trips, what, 5 trips, and I've never had any issue like that. So,
I love it.
oh, that's so cool, bro. Like seriously, it's so cool.
It
Now,
makes me happy.
look, your work, that business specifically, which sounds like it's scaled and you've started another one, but that business specifically, such a niche thing. Like knowing where to go, knowing the hotels, knowing the excursions, knowing the transportation. How did you get there?
Man, it was years of travel and a lot of failures, a lot of fun, and a lot of excitement. Just really just going through it time and time again, and just finally knowing what I had the best times doing when I created the best memories and friendships. That's exactly what I wanted to bottle and pass on to other people. And that's exactly what I try to do. And, I hear it a lot. And I think I've been able to accomplish that because a lot of times people, just like you're saying, they'll say stuff and I'm thinking, I'm so proud and I'm so very happy. But I'm thinking, wow, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. So that is a very good thing.
Yeah, dude, it's nice when you're validated by one of your clients. Well, we're friends more than clients, but like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been a customer of yours multiple times. So like it is nice when you're validated by your customers, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It means a lot. It means the world.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. So try, but I would say this to travel. I have two questions. Walk me through the process of getting to know an area so much that you can actually lead a trip there and have the itinerary ready? Like, what is that? How many is it? Like Thailand, for example, did you go 6 times to get all your info? Like, what does that look like? What's the timeline on that? Like, what do you have to do?
Ricky, that is a great question, and nobody's ever asked me that. And it's not. A lot of people think it just happens, and it does not just happen.
No, bro. I would
Yeah,
fall apart if I tried to do that just happening.
yeah. Let me tell you. Well, when I first started, it's a lot different than what it is now. Almost a decade later, when I first started, I don't even want to go in. I probably spent so much extra time doing things than I needed to, but ultimately, over the years, I've created. I'm a very detail-oriented individual at times. So I've created different processes. So basically, when I go out there, I'll go to these countries. I like to spend a month out there if possible, but I'm going to tell you, I can go to any. I believe I've been to many, but I believe that I can go to any city on Earth and know it well enough to do a trip within 3 to 4 days, which is unbelievable.
Oh,
And
wow.
that's only after a decade of doing it. And I never use that, but I could do it if I needed to.
Yeah.
But my process in a nutshell is I go out. Obviously, I do my research online, look everything up, on the map, everything. And basically, what I do is I rent whether I normally I'll take a bike tour or a walking tour or whatever. Then I'll rent a bike or a car and I'll learn the largest streets and I'll ride up and down those streets. And then once I know the main roads, I'll drive in between the little roads. So now I know my way around the entire city, the main roads and the little roads. Then I'll go and people are going to think I'm crazy. And then I'll go and I'll ride the metro. Every part of the metro, I'll ride it up and down, back, up, front, whatever. And until I actually know the entire metro system, then I start going to all the restaurants. I'll try a bunch of the main best restaurants online, whatnot. And then I'll talk to different people, like the hotels, this and that. And I'll even stay at different hotels. Sometimes each night I'll stay at a different hotel, talking to all the people, finding little hole in the wall restaurants. Then I do the bars and clubs. Then I do the activities. And I'll just go through a bunch of different activities. And once I find a bunch that I like, there's sometimes in one day, I'll do, let's just say an ATV ride. I'll do maybe, 5 to 10 ATV rides in one day just to find out which one is perfect for the tour, because you don't want one that's too slow. And then you don't want one where, oh my gosh, somebody could die on that,
No,
and then
100%, dude. That's a great.
yeah, yeah. And then from that,
people could really get hurt, but never.
oh, for sure.
I know, bro. It's like a band when they play a show and it was perfect. It's like you don't
Yeah.
see how all like the hours and hours and hours of rehearsing and the light show and all the shit that went on to make it perfect.
Yeah.
Because something could go wrong at
Yeah.
any time. But the
100%.
preparation that you put into it is what prevents it.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, that's what I do. It's funny you asked. Nobody's ever asked that.
But let me ask this, like, are your days just like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. of like shit? Like, I'm gonna go do the 3 ATV tours and I've got 6 restaurants to hit. I'm not only gonna try appetizers at most of them, and then I'm gonna go after that. I'm gonna go take a couple of taxis and just see if I can get to know the travel community. Like, what does that look like? Because I have a follow-up question, but let's start there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Yes, they are 8 hour days. They're no, man. They're like 15 hour days. But here's the thing. Even if I wasn't planning a travel trip, I would do almost the same exact thing. I don't know why. That's just what I do when I go travel.
Right.
I leave that hotel at like 6, 7, 8 in the morning, and I am gone the entire day. Sometimes I won't get home till 2 in the morning. Sometimes later, sometimes maybe midnight,
Right.
and just exploring the entire time. So, when I'm exploring with a travel trip in mind, it's a little different because then I'm meeting people, making relationships, things like that. But
Right.
yeah, they're long days, man.
Yeah, the reason, so totally understand. That makes sense how much you have to do to make sure you're prepared for the trip. Because
Yeah.
the one negative experience could mean that customer, that client, that review. And so I totally know, like, and I know how much of a perfectionist you are in the best way. I know how like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
perfect you need things to be for you. So like I can see that. So I can only imagine how much you like put into it. The reason I ask about those connections you make, because I feel like everywhere we go, inevitably, outside of your control, outside of Clint, you've gone back, forth, up, down, left, right, 65 times to make sure it's going to go perfect. But outside of your control, something happens. But you
Yeah.
always have the answer. And so the specific thing that I'm talking about was, and if you see me look up and down, it's because I have them on Zoom here and I have the screen there. So I'm going back and
Yeah.
forth. But the specific, you know where I'm going with this. So we were in Peru and we were going to go to Machu Picchu. That was on the itinerary. You had done the tickets, you had done the transportation, you had done everything. But fucking sure as shit, there was a train strike, right? Transportation train.
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
we're like, oh, we're in trouble, whatever. But Clint goes on the phone and just has the person to talk to. He's like, oh, yeah, my girl Martha, she's gonna be here in 10 minutes. She's got plans. We're gonna drive overnight. No, don't even worry about it. This trip's happening. And I was like, what? And like
That's hilarious.
they picked us up and they drove us through the canyon. Like there was no roads where we went. But like, dude, what it was such a crazy fun adventure. And you
I
got
can't
it
believe
there.
it.
And we lit like so where do you meet those people, bro?
That is insane that you brought that up. That's so funny, man. And the part that you didn't see, that was the first Traver Peru trip. And
Oh,
we were supposed to go to bed early that night. It was like
ah,
midnight.
ah,
And we were supposed to be up at 4 or 5 in the morning to go to Machu Picchu the next day.
yep.
And there were some people out partying, some people were asleep, some people were who knows where. And I'm like, okay, we're going to Machu Picchu. I'm going to go pack my stuff and I'm going to get ready and go to sleep myself. And that lady called and she said, Mr. Clint, she said, listen, I have to tell you, the Machu Picchu trip tomorrow is canceled. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I said, what do you mean? She said, there's a transportation strike and all transportation to Machu Picchu is canceled.
Oh my
And I said, Martha, I said, listen, I said, we're going to Machu Picchu. I said, just trust me, we're going. And she goes, no, Mr. Clint, it's impossible. No one can go. I said, Martha, I said, just listen to me. I said, you can do this. I said, no matter what, I said, even if we have to get a helicopter, I don't care what we have to do. We are going to Machu Picchu. So stop saying we're not going because we are going to go
God.
and me and you are going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And kept it positive. And I said, so now let's relax and let's think for a minute. What can we possibly do to make it to where we can go to Machu Picchu? And she goes, the only thing we could do is if we took the van right now, but we would have to leave in the next 15 minutes before the strike officially begins. And we could possibly make it then. And if you remember, I called an emergency meeting
Yeah.
and I got everybody along and I said, hey guys, officially the Traver Peru Machu Picchu trip is officially canceled. I said, but if you want to go on a crazy adventure, and I cannot guarantee anything, but we are going to do our best to get to Machu Picchu because I know we all want to go to Machu Picchu. And you know what's crazy is every single person on that trip, except one person stayed, and that was cool. She had a free day.
Yeah, okay.
Every single person, which I was honored, but they trusted me and they said, let's go, we're in. And do you remember the hotel?
Yeah, we got there and it was one room that we could get and we were all in there. Well, what a fucking memory, dude. That was we all slept on each other. Like 16 of us, just like floor, bed, like interwoven, just on top of each other.
Yep.
Woke up.
So
let's go.
Yeah. Before we left, I said, listen, guys, I can't guarantee anything. It's going to be an adventure. There's definitely going to be some serious obstacles. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
And when we got there, the only way we could get there is to drive all through the night. And then we showed up and we only had like 4 hours to sleep. And she said there were no hotels. So I was like, no, keep calling. We're going to find a hotel.
Yeah.
She goes, there are none. She goes, finally, after hours, she goes, okay, I found one room. We'll take it. And everybody in that van was so excited and so happy. Yeah. And you're right. Some people were sleeping on chairs. Some people were sleeping on beds. But the one thing that I'll remember this for the rest of my life. Yeah. There was a river underneath the room.
Yeah.
And everybody was sleeping. And all I remember is waking up to everybody laughing. Everybody was just laughing.
Right. That sounds right.
And it was so cool. Dude. And we went to Machu Picchu and we were like the only ones there.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I know. And so like the wait time and all that stuff to go through things was amazing. And then crazy. I snuck around the corner. Remember, there's no drones, and I was like, "Bro, I'm gonna get this drone shot." I hiked like 2 miles into like the free canyon, used my whole battery to get around the corner. Got 3 shots, the rest of the battery to come back, and I ran my ass out of there.
Oh, it was crazy, man.
But no, yeah. Back to your point, man. And it's kind of funny, like. I don't remember you even like mentioning anything because I'm sure that cost you a pretty penny, both the vans and the hotel. So needless to say, if shit goes wrong, you just like, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean,
that's great. It's part of the game, huh?
100%. Remain calm, stay positive, and bust your ass and don't take no for an answer, man. Yeah.
That's wild. And it's, I imagine too, it's kind of like, well, this is going to wildly eat into my profit, but like it has to happen. Like, it's part of the game. Like it's just how it goes.
I have to tell you something. And this is what I actually am very happy that this is part of my personality. When something like that happens, it doesn't even cross my mind. I couldn't care less. Cause when it comes to, these people's experience, I none of that matters to me. That is of utmost importance on how their experience
No,
goes.
100%. I mean, we run the same, a very similar plan over here with,
Yeah.
if something happens and we just have to go overtime to get it done, we'll do it. And of course, it's
Yeah.
not the best thing in the world, but we are trying to make sure our client is successful. So we have to do whatever means necessary. So
Yeah.
like, they guarantee that we guarantee the success of what we do for them. So we got to do it. So totally understand, man. That story
It's
was
true.
crazy and so much fun. I was on that trip with Gabe and my sister. So that was,
Wow.
that one was fun. That one was really fun.
So long ago. It seems long ago, but it really wasn't.
It wasn't that long ago. It was long enough ago. But it was pre-daughter ago. You create my life now.
Pre-COVID too.
That's true. Um,
Wow.
okay, so then just like taking another step back. So your travel, let's say the travel company was almost born out of not necessity, but damn near like, what am I doing next?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, kind of. Yeah. I could
So,
see how it could. Yeah.
so tell me, then walk me through what that was.
Um, Basically, it wasn't real. It was born out of, okay, what am I going to do next? And I said, you know what? I went back to school, studied abroad, and bought a one-way ticket to Italy because I had experienced some travel and loved it. And said, you know what? As cliche as this sounds, I bought a one-way ticket to Italy and I said, you know what? I'm going to find out what my passion in life is and what I'm supposed to do next. And I went to Italy, Florence, Italy, and there were some serious obstacles, ups and downs, but ultimately it led me to travel. And I completely found myself and fell in love with exploring the world and those experiences that come with it, and decided to bring that back and share that with others. That was, in a nutshell, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And it's not cliche to me. I think that's beautiful. I just think people are too scared to do anything like that. But it happened because you were kicking your ass. You were kicking ass at your career
100%.
Trevor. What was that again?
Yeah. So I was in home financing and investment, real estate, everything like that.
And it just and that market kind of took a turn, and you're like, okay,
It
I gotta go figure out what I want.
completely, yeah, completely crashed.
What a beautiful thing. Well, in the moment,
Beautiful thing.
not
No, dude.
great.
Beautiful thing. Looking back in the moment, the worst disaster of my entire life. I thought it couldn't get any worse, but now, thank God.
Dude, that's so cool. So
Could you imagine if I was still doing mortgages?
yeah, I don't know that I would know you. Well, I wouldn't know you because we would
No, I
never
probably
met.
wouldn't.
But like, I
No.
don't know, I can imagine your life has changed significantly
Yeah.
from like doing this,
Everything.
seeing the world, like really
Yeah.
feeling and experiencing everything. Like, yeah, man, that's dope. Now, how's like the 75 hard life going? I didn't know I was gonna go here, but we share this experience with like health and
Yeah.
fitness, and you've
Yeah.
always been jacked, even if you don't eat. Even if you eat whatever you want, you're still jacked, which is hilarious. But I've seen you get insanely more shredded. What caused that? What got you there?
I mean, I don't know how jacked I am now, but I'd say I'm pretty healthy. What I've always led a pretty healthy lifestyle, and as you get older, you have to tighten it up as much as you can. You have to start paying attention to your diet and working out, making sure that you're doing your stuff. Otherwise, you're going to get old, man, and you're going to not be able to enjoy life the way that you want to.
Yeah, I echo those things, but it's a different thing. Like doing 75 hard or whatever.
Oh, 75 hard.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
what you did and what I've done before too is a different
Yeah.
thing than saying I'm going to be healthy. This is more of like I'm going to change my life and kick some ass. What
Yeah.
was that like?
Okay. So what that was is that was after COVID. No, I'm sorry. That was during COVID. And I broke up. I had a breakup with my girlfriend. And so I was like, oh man, I just felt so motivated.
Yeah.
So I did 75 hard. But if you remember correctly, I started the first 7 days of 75 hard with a lemon water fast. So I had nothing but 1 gallon of lemon water per day for 7 days for the first 7 days of my 75 hard. That was awesome.
Why was it? That sounds terrible.
I don't know, but it was probably one of the top 5 coolest things, greatest impactful things I've ever done in my entire life.
Yeah, because I mean because you were working out on that. So
I was working out twice a day
I'm not eating.
and not eating.
Gee.
No clue.
Yeah, I remember seeing the before and after, and I was like, bro, you are jacked.
It did a number, man. It was effective.
Actually doing like 75 hard and then phase one, phase two, phase three. I don't go back and do 75 hard again because it's a long, I know probably should, but it's a long time. But I do the 30-day thing.
Same.
So on a 30-day right now, been like I'm near perfect with my diet and water, workouts, and I'm like I'm getting shredded now. So I'm feeling pretty good.
I see that. I see you getting up super early, crushing the gym. You've always been jacked too. Who you kidding?
I've been,
But that's amazing.
well, first of all,
You know what?
I've always been skinny cut. I've never been like muscular. Does that make sense?
I mean, you look pretty muscular when you whip that guy's ass in Thailand.
Oh, bro. Do you remember that, man? That was
Yeah,
so
I
funny.
remember that.
I was so we were into Thailand and I just our buddy Dylan had gone the trip before that and I had seen his footage and that there was this Thai fighting like drinking and Thai fighting. I was like, dude, I knew in me that that scared the shit out of me, but I was like, no, I have to do it. And I
Oh
remember
yeah.
that night I was so tired, bro. I was so
Yeah.
tired. I was like, man, like yeah, I don't know if this is gonna be the night. Like we was a travel day. We were all just like drained. That was the biggest group I was ever on a trip with. It was like
That
22.
was amazing. Yeah, it was a good
We're all
group.
tired and we're at this bar, this Thai bar, and I was like, you know what, dude, I'm just gonna do it. I was like, I either took an Advil or a sleep aid, and I'm about to find out which one I did.
Oh my gosh.
Remember because I got my I had like an Advil and
Yeah.
like but it was like Thai or not, it was like Thai Advil and Thai NyQuil. I was like, I don't know which one I took, but I'm about to find out. So I get in the ring, and if you ever do this, do not volunteer yourself first. It's probably the dumbest thing you can do.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
be the second one because this fucking
For
monster
sure.
and like 6'3". I don't want to overdo it. Okay, let's just say he was 6'1",
Yeah.
a lot bigger than me, not as fit, which would help me a lot in the fight. But so he comes up and then we get into it and I was like, all right, I think I can out fitness this guy if I really just like, stay true. And Mikey Regina there, who's still a really good friend of mine and one of
Yeah.
your best
Yeah.
friends, like
Yeah.
he has fighting experience. He's all coaching me on the side. But what
Yeah.
was crazy is it lit everybody up, bro. Everybody was on
Yeah.
fire after that. You remember we were all
Such a
tired
good
and then
time.
everybody was like, ah. So I get in the ring,
Yeah. Yeah.
fighting, and I'm hitting this guy. I'm like, cha, cha, cha. I'm hitting three, four at a time. But every time he lands a punch, I'm almost getting knocked out. So I was just like, boosh, like all the way back. And then I come back in, I'm like, pa, 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 pa. And somehow I just managed, and I think he like rolled his ankle or something. I won the fight, and it was just like we went on to just absolutely party in the best way that night. That was like
I love it.
that's probably my most memorable solo travel moment. Like of just me, not like I was solo by myself, but like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not yet now. So we go and we've
It
been there.
counts as solo.
Yeah, we've had our own, we went to Italy on our own and that was a beautiful, amazing thing on its own. So but that was
That
dude,
was a good memory. Good memory.
that was our first time like meeting face to dude. That was so cool.
Oh, sick.
That group,
I
that
love it.
group I mean, we all still talk, like within reason,
Wow.
we all still talk. That was a great group.
Yeah, I love it.
Michael James, man, I love that guy. So that was super sick. And then, so basically, yeah, I asked you a question. We went down a lot of paths there. Trevor, how did you come up with that name? Like, I know it's like basically it sounds like Traveler, so I think I could guess at how you got
Yeah.
there. But what was
Well,
that?
now you're asking some good questions. Nobody asks me this stuff. And you wouldn't think, everybody thinks a name is so easy. The truth is, I wanted to start a travel company and I had everything planned and everything done, but I couldn't come up with a freaking name. And it's really hard to come up with a name.
Yeah.
So I spent a year reading books of creativity, how to think of different things, how to come up with names, marketing, all these things. And I just couldn't think of one.
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, you know what? I'm done. I named it Tucci Travel just because I had to get it started.
Tucci
And
Travel.
and I said, you know what? When a name comes to me, I'll change it. And I knew exactly what I wanted. I wanted one short word that had no meaning, but I could brand it to where it had a meaning.
Yeah.
Like Traver, now it symbolizes to the people that go, fun, excitement, having a great time, bonding with others. And I'm sitting there with the name Tucci Travel, and I'm still reading my books and everything, and I'm not even thinking of it. And in my mind just pops Traver. And I'm like, what the hell? Traver?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that is absolutely perfect. So I go on GoDaddy and I Google, Traver.com, Traver, and it has it. So I buy that, but then there's another one. It's Traver.life. And I'm like, oh, this is a lifestyle. I'm like, that's even better. So I bought the Traver.life and then I decided to drop the E. So that's where it came from.
So cool.
Crazy.
That was stinking cool, man. Wow. So you go all over the world. What's the longest flight that you guys go
Oh
on?
God. I mean, longest is Thailand. Total flight time, total travel time for that is 24, 26 hours
It
if you
really? I
get a good flight. Yeah.
remember being like that. Okay. Do
Yeah,
you
it sucks.
you ever think the flight time is something that holds people back from traveling at all?
Yeah. And that's unfortunate. That's sad, is what that is, because I mean, the flight sucks for everybody, man. Come on. That's just an excuse for most people. Oh, I can't fly. My legs are too long. No, man, yeah, you get it. The truth is, and this is the way I see it, who cares about the flight? Once you get there and you have the first night and you have a great time, you're never, ever going to remember that flight again in your life. But all those experiences and adventures and relationships and friendships you make, you're going to remember those for the rest of your life. And you'll never think about that flight again.
No, 1,000,000%. Is that so? I mean, because there's a list of things that people could I don't want to say
Oh, for sure.
but like whine about. So
Yeah.
no money, no this and that. Is that your answer to most objections on this kind of thing? And to
Well,
travel in general?
just the flight thing. That's definitely my answer. For the money thing, my answer, my response on that is much different.
What is it? Tell me.
What? Just what? When
Is
people
there
are like, "Oh,
like,
I don't."
oh, well, I don't want to spend the money. I always say in my business when I'm talking to someone, I always say, hey, if it stretches you, great. If it breaks you, I understand. We don't have to. We can end the conversation. No big deal. But if it stretches you, this is maybe what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
What do you?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, if somebody says they don't want to travel or go on a travel trip for money or the flight,
Oh,
brother, I do not care at all. You'll never hear me respond. If somebody's like, "Oh, the flight's long," hey, don't worry about it. Don't go. It's not for you. If they're that concerned about a flight, we don't want them on the trip. We
right.
really genuinely don't. But in general, in life, if people are like, "Oh, I don't have enough money to travel," it's 99% of the time, it's a bullshit excuse. And I'll prove it right now. Those people that say that, let me ask you this. Have you actually tried? Did you actually go and look up flights and look up hotels? And if you did, how off were you? Were you off $500, $1,000, $1,500? Could you have taken a longer flight? Could you have chosen a different hotel?
Right.
Okay, if you did that, now it's down to 500 or 1,000. Okay, could you have not for the next 2 months? Could you not go out to dinner every night, getting dinner and drinks? Could you not buy those shoes? It's such a total cop out. It's a total excuse.
Like it's two things. It's like the assumption that it's going to cost me 50, $100,000. It's the first assumption, but it's really just laziness for not looking it up.
100%. And, that's another thing that people do, in my opinion, which is terrible. To each their own. But a lot of people that don't travel that much, they finally take that first big trip and they spend an obscene amount of money. And then they come home and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never doing that again. Well, yeah, dude, what did you expect? Why the hell did you do it like that?
Yeah, you could have easily like you could budget some things, have a big dinner here, have a normal dinner here, eat breakfast
Exactly.
at every hotel, always.
Yep.
Cheat code. And like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't have to go ball out, even though that's what I did on my last trip. Forgive me, but
Yeah.
let
And if you want to do that, hey man, I'm not telling somebody how to live their lives. If that's what they want to do it. But if
me
you're
tell you that.
using it,
Let me tell you this. It was one of the best things I could have done. Nadia and I had the best time. We didn't have a baby yet. It was like we spent 2 weeks in Italy, just us. Like, and I'll tell you, I got the money from selling a Gary V NFT. So I spent
no,
like 2,400 bucks on it. I sold it for like 55,000. And
that's
then it
awesome.
was the craziest thing ever. I can't even pretend like I'm savvy. It just happened. And then and then like half of that's locked away in Genesis. Genesis, yeah, if you hear me, fix this, get our money back. So then you know what I mean? So I'm happy that I got the trip out. That's amazing. You ain't gonna hear me complain about that. That was awesome.
That's cool. Good for you. Good, good, good.
And we're going to travel again. It's different with a baby, but we'll find a new way to travel in a
That's
different.
right. That's exactly right. Good for you.
We want our daughter Delilah to be traveled because it creates a better human, I believe.
I would have to agree 100%. That's amazing. Yeah.
You just kind of mentioned it's the way to do it is just to sacrifice a couple of things, not your whole
Yeah.
life, just a couple of things so you can save a couple bucks and go on this trip. What's like? Do you practice what you preach? Like, have you done that before? Like, do you practice? That's such an asshole question. I mean, I imagine that comes
No,
from a place of like, I've done it before. Am I wrong there, or is that pretty much
no,
right?
no, no, man. Oh, yeah, I've done it to the utmost extreme and I just practice. That's my lifestyle, man. I mean, I travel quite a bit. And, the reason I'm able to do that is because I'm not an idiot. I'm not driving a, $200,000 car. I'm not, spending money on lavish dinners and, $1,000 shoes and all this other stuff, all this frivolous stuff. My priorities are travel and experiencing the world. One of the biggest things that happened with me was when the market crashed and I decided to leave everything and go back to school and study abroad. I had very limited funds, but I had a shit ton of money a little bit ago, and I had a $10,000 watch that I had bought, and thought it was a level of success. And I decided at that time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to sell this watch, and I'm going to use this money to travel, to study abroad and travel to Florence, Italy. And it was such a symbolic thing for me because it wasn't just selling a watch. It was giving up that lifestyle and giving up those monetary items. And when I did that, I sold that watch, used it to study abroad in Florence, Italy. And I promised myself I would never wear a watch again, and I would never be controlled by time. And I have never worn a watch in my life since, and I never will.
Wild, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about like getting rid of your worldly possessions to do the next thing. You like, this is who I was, and I'm sacrificing it to become the next version of myself. That's
Yeah.
insane, bro.
When I bought that one-way ticket to Florence, Italy, I sold everything that I owned. I sold everything except my bedroom set. And just so I had enough money to buy a plane ticket and live for a little bit until I figured it out over there.
Where were you living? Oh, because you were living in Italy. You took the bedroom set with you?
No, no, no. I put it in storage.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So when you got
Yeah.
back, first thing is find a little spot and take everything out of storage. And how long total did you spend in Italy?
About a year, a little over a year.
So cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah. It was nuts.
Your best. Okay, I've got two follow-up questions to that. And we're getting close to 45 minutes. I want to respect everyone's
Yeah.
time. Uh, what happened? If you're in Italy, so much must have happened. What realizations, what did you come to? What was happening in your mind? Like, what were the evolutions? Did it happen in Italy, or was it like reflecting on that?
It happened in different phases, so many different things. I mean, over the last decade, I have had so many incredible life-changing things happen to me, and each one of them being unbelievably profound. But when you add them up, it changed my life completely. But so many different things, just like that, like selling everything and buying a one-way ticket to Italy, giving up my Rolex and changing my complete lifestyle, finding a new career, finding my passion in life, living over there, completely running out of money and having to find a way to eat because I had no money. I ran it down. I had negative bank account and I had €1 to my name, literally one single euro.
How did you figure that out? What? I didn't know. I didn't hear this. I've never heard that part of the
I
story.
never thought. Okay, so when I went to Florence, when I bought a one-way ticket and moved to Florence, Italy, I had basically no money to start with, and I ended up only a month or two in actually, and I had a negative bank account, no flight home, and I only had one single euro to my name, and I was in Cafe Michelangelo. And I'm looking at this euro and I'm like, holy shit, it just got real, man. And I'm like, I was actually surprisingly calm, but I'm thinking, all right, like, what the can I do to get out of this? Like, I'm kind of screwed. And I went and I bought a pastry with the euro and I'm eating my pastry and I'm looking around the area and I'm like, well, you know what? I made some cool videos. I'm like, I have this little handheld Sony camera and I shot the restaurant, little cafe, and edited it. And I went to the owner and I said, hey, how's this look? He said, I love it. And actually, he said, Bellissimo. And I said, do you want to buy it for 50 euro? He bought it for 50 euro. And I was like, oh my gosh, jackpot. And then from there, I made hundreds of videos in Florence and Rome. And I used that to live for that year. That's how I lived over there.
Wait, and get back home too?
Oh, yeah, that's how I got back home. Yeah.
How much did you make?
Well, I mean, I wasn't banking, but I was banking for me at the time.
Get back home. Like that's it.
Oh yeah. I mean, at the end, I stopped charging 50 euro because I got better. So I think it went up to maybe 300, 500. But, I was making deals with hotels. I would shoot their hotels and they'd pay me, $300 to shoot it. And then I'd get a week or two to stay in there, or I'd do restaurants. One time, this is crazy. So I make a deal with a restaurant to shoot the video, and I'm broke as a joke, man. In Florence, Italy, broke. I make a deal to make the video for them at this amazing restaurant, and they fly a chef. He was like a chef that was well known all over Italy. They fly this chef into Florence, Italy to personally make me dinner and make me all this different food. And I'm sitting there trying all the food, and then I videoed all of it. And I'm like, man, like, this is crazy. This is something from a movie, and I have no money on me, but yet this is happening in my life. And that's a perfect example right there, that a moment like that, who does that happen to? But how did I get that to happen to me? I embraced poverty basically and just kind of rolled with the punches, and look at what came out of it. Just the most incredible. I can go on with stories like this forever, but just an amazing experience like that.
That's so cool. That's like a modern day influencer, bro.
Isn't that cool?
Wild, man. That is so cool. I've never heard that story.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been friends for years and years, so we talk about, damn, I've never, that's such a cool story, bro.
For a very long time, I was not only embarrassed, but ashamed of that, man. I was not something I would ever tell anybody. I don't know. Lately, I've just learned to not give a shit, and my whole attitude towards that stuff has changed dramatically.
That's amazing. That's good. That's how it should be.
It's agreed.
Did you hit, because like now, I mean, then you came back wildly entrepreneurial, started the company. I have similar stories of being broke in my study abroad time, and it branded me so bad that that's why I am who I am now. Like, that's why I work, why I make sure that I have more than enough at all times. And so did that same kind of thing happen to you, or did you get back and be like, dude, I'm never going to feel that again?
Man, I've been on a crazy journey since that happened. And now, nah, man, I'm not like that at all. I'm actually the opposite. I really don't worry about a lot. When I first got back, because I had a pretty good amount of money when the market crashed, and when I got back and all that happened, my whole mindset was just, I genuinely couldn't care less about money. My whole outlook on life changed, and I had no interest in that. I mean, obviously I needed to eat and live, but my interests had shifted to completely different things that truly, in my opinion, matter in life, which are, seeing the world, meeting new people, experiencing new things, new cultures, new foods. And for me, it was such borderline obsession to where I just had to experience it more and more. And that is where all my focus went, from the security that people think money provides.
Gotcha. That's amazing, man. I love that.
Crazy. Different.
I've got some work to do that in that area, but I'm like,
hey, listen, dude, we have different circumstances. You have a family, you have a wife. I don't have that. I don't have that responsibility. So if I had that, my outlook would probably be much different.
Completely. I just, there's something in me that just wants to drive all the time. I am like a pusher. I just like having an obsession with like winning, doing this. Yep. What's the next thing? Let's keep kicking ass. What's next?
Yeah. Well, I think I still have that in there.
Yeah, I know you do. That's why I'm like, I know you do. That's why I'm trying to like, I hear
it's just different. It's not money focused. It's more of, for now it's more of experiences and living the life that I have learned to appreciate and want, which is much different than it was when I just wanted to be rich and have a ton of money.
I got you. So let me ask you this, because you have a lot of advice to give in the travel space and like the how to travel, all that stuff. And you've given a lot on this podcast. So thank you for that. Yeah. Has there been anyone that's ever given you advice or that's pre Clint, knowledge bank of advice for travel, but like has anyone ever given you the advice?
I've gotten lots and lots of advice, and it's always greatly appreciated. But one thing that does come to mind is my grandfather, which he was like my best friend. And when I was going to study abroad and I had no money, I went to him and I said, "Hey, I said, I'm going to study abroad." I said, "And I'm broke." I said, "And I'm really scared because, I just don't know what to do. Should I go for the full semester or should I just go for the full semester where I won't have any money, or should I just go for like the half where I could possibly be comfortable at best?" And he said, "Clint," he said, "go as long as you can. Don't worry about the money. Everything will work out. I promise." And I didn't even second guess it or think about it again at all. I said, "Done. I'm all in, man." And I've used that for my entire life since. And it has served me so well, man. He's an amazing guy.
That's super cool, bro. That's so cool. Man, that's a different
Isn't
way.
that crazy?
Bro, that's
Yeah.
good. And I imagine he was like a world traveler as well then.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, which is nuts.
I mean, that's
He
where it was
went to a
coming
few
from.
places. He went to a few places with my grandma, but I think, that part of that could have come that he didn't do that out of having so many money worries, because that's most people's cases. They don't do it because they're like, "Oh, I might not have the money or this or that." And he could have been sitting there at 90 years old thinking, "I missed out on this. I'm telling this guy to do what I didn't do." Could be.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Dude, it's been 50 minutes if you can believe that.
Yeah, it goes quick, right?
Well, hey,
I miss you, buddy.
I miss you too, man. We gotta. I just, if you're ever here, or if we're ever gonna go in Florida, we gotta plan something if we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to the boy Dylan too and see what he's up to.
Yeah. Dude, that was a great time. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no, dude, thank you for being here. Clint
Oh, yeah.
Bertucci, guys. What Instagrams that you want people to find you at, or
Yeah, just my
so
personal Instagram is Clint Bertucci, Clint. Yeah, Bertucci, Bertucci. B as in boy,
I was gonna say
Bertucci.
you're gonna need to spell that even for me, bro.
Yeah.